Hey family, hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the word of the day. It is, what is it? Wednesday, June the 26th. So happy hump day. We're almost there for those of you that are working. For those of you that are retired, every day is the weekend, right? So today I want to talk about humbleness and humbling ourselves. So according to Webster's dictionary, to be humble means to be modest or meek in spirit or manner without excess of pride. So let's just think about that. Not having any pride, humbling ourselves. Okay, makes sense. We need to humble ourselves every day to the Lord. I know as humans, we can get cocky, myself included. We think we know everything. We think we've got it. We think we can do it by ourselves, but we can't. We need His help. So we have to humble ourselves and say, Lord, I cannot do this without you. So we need to bring it down a notch. In 1 Peter 5 and 6, it states, in the same way, you who are younger, submit yourselves to your elder. All of you, clothe yourselves with humility toward one another, because God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. That was actually one of my verses that I memorized a couple of weeks ago. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. So to me, that means if we humble ourselves to God and submit to him, whatever we're going through, he's going to lift us up through that. Whatever we're going through, he's going to be there with us to guide us. But we need to humble ourselves. We can't get cocky. We can't forget where our help comes from. We can't say, oh, I got this. This is all me. No, it's not. And I've spoke about this in other videos. It's part of it. It's going to keep coming up because this is part of living a godly life. This is part of walking with God. You have to humble yourself. You have to be obedient. So all these things, they come together. They're all tied together. But humbleness is a big thing because I know for me, a lot of times in my life, I would say, oh yeah, I did that. I did that by myself, totally forgetting where my help came from. I was like, yeah, I got this. And then later on, I'd look back and say, ooh, you know what? I really didn't do that by myself. And I would say, well, by the grace of God, because I knew that I didn't do it. So I'm like, let's get off our high horses and stop acting like we're little mini gods and we can do it all, because we can't. We need to humble ourselves and give it to God and say, I submit to your will, Lord. Ask him, say, help me humble myself to you so that I can do your will and, walk with you. If we humble ourselves, there are actually rewards. In Proverbs 22 and 4, it states, humility is the fear of the Lord. Its wages are riches and honor and life. So it helps to be humble because the wages are riches and honor and life. Just like doing God's will, submitting to God, same thing, being humble. There are rewards to this. By being humble, asking God to intercede on our behalf and just letting him work it out, you'll be surprised. You'll be rewarded. In Jeremiah 29:11, it states, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope for a future. This is another one of my favorite verses. It's so plain. God is saying, I've got a plan for you. I'm not going to hurt you. You have to trust in me. You have to believe in me. You need to have faith and you need to humble yourself to me. And I'm going to show you things that you couldn't even imagine. You may think, oh, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do it by myself. But what you really need to realize is you don't control your life. You think you do, but God does. And he's just pretty much sitting back watching to see what you're going to do, basically. I always kind of pictured it, I guess, as a teenager and a young adult. I pictured me being like on a chessboard, like the game of life or something like that on a game board. And I'm just moving around. And God is like, I'm like the player and God is moving the piece. And like I start moving by myself. And then God's like, get back over here. And then he moves me. Or if he sees me going a different direction, he's like, nope. And picks me up and puts me back over there. And it's like I keep going back to these spots and God's picking me up and saying, stop going back over here. Stop going back over here. What are you doing? You're not listening to me. You're not having faith in me. You're not humbling yourself to me. So God is just kind of sitting back, being that patient, loving father he is, and watching us fall and stumble all over ourselves, thinking we know what we're doing and wondering why we can't get it right because we have not humbled ourselves to him. So thank you, Lord, for your mercy and your grace. Thank you for picking me up every time I stumble and fall. I'm going to say that right now because I know God's probably just looking at me like, this girl. But I'm getting it together. I'm getting it together. I just want to talk about just being humble. And, it kind of goes with it does go with everyday life. It doesn't kind of, it does go with every life. Humble yourselves in anything you do, your work, when you're interacting with people and when you're spending that time alone with God, humble yourself as well. I want to leave you with Luke 14:11. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. So, for all those that are out there being cocky, saying it's me, it's me, it's me, God will humble you. He will bring you down. But those who humble themselves will be exalted. Those who do what they're supposed to do and humble themselves to God, like I said, you will be rewarded. Let's put away our pride. Let's get off our high horses. Let's submit ourselves to God and be humble. Hope you guys got something out of this one, and I hope you enjoyed the word, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.